I'm excited for this video. I'm paranoid now because I feel like everything is a pest. If you're new to my channel, my name's Melissa and I'm really happy you're here. For today's video, we're going to do a few repottings because I've been itching to repot more plants, and I've been meaning to repot 2 of these for a while, and then there's another one I threw in that I just want to get out of a tiny pot. So it should be a fun video. I'm excited to repot these, and I get to go corm hunting for one of them. I love hunting for corms. And yeah, let's get started. I'll show you the plants I'm going to be repotting today. This first one is my Hoya Collection Splash. And this is the new leaf it just gave me. This was a 2-leaf prop. It has this new growth it shot out, and this was a tiny little baby leaf not that long ago. So it's the first leaf in my care, which is really exciting. I rooted this and grew it from a cutting. I'm just going to lift it up out of this pot, and I'm going to put it into like a tiny 3-inch pot. I just want to give it a little bit more room to grow now that it's getting like a little top heavy because it's wobbly a bit. So that's the plan for that one. This next plant is an Alocasia. You guys may have heard me talk about this in my Alocasia Collection video. I've been meaning to get this plant out of terracotta. I just prefer my plants to be in plastic, and it only has 1 drain hole, and I want this plant to be in a better mix with more airflow. The next plant I'm going to repot is my Calithia Medallion. Look how beautiful. This Calathea I also did on a video on my channel. This was a rescue from Lowe's, I believe, or Home Depot. I think it was Lowe's. It has lots of new growth coming in. It's grown quite a bit since I repotted it. Even though this is plastic, it only has 1 little drain hole, and this actually sits on a saucer. I just want my pot to have more airflow in here so that the plants can breathe a bit more. So that is the plan for these. First, I'm going to do the Hoya. I'm going to use my normal mix for my Alocasia and my Calithia. For the Hoya, I'm going to use Soils because it's a little bit of a chunkier mix, and I really like that for Hoya plants. So I'm going to do this guy first. And I have my slow release fertilizer. This is my Tezula, so I'm going to be adding that in the pots of all of these as well. So I have a little container here, and I'll pan you down so you can see. So for the Hoya here, I am not going to disturb this root system that much just because it was a prop, and these guys do like to be root bound. So I am going to just pluck him right out of there like that, and put him in the new pot. I have my soils bag right here. It's kind of opened messily, so I'm just gonna scoop some out of here. I really love this mix, you guys. Look how chunky it is. I'm gonna plop him right in there. I'm going to add 1 scoop of fertilizer. And then just fill up around. I'm really happy this plant has grown for me. I would say I can't remember exactly when I got this cutting. It was I want to say last summer sometime, and then I rooted it and potted it up. It's been potted up for, I would say, at least 8 or 9 months. So it's taken that long to grow. Sometimes plants just take a while, especially Hoya cuttings. I feel like they take a while to kind of mature and establish before they push new growth. See, this looks already so much better. That looks so cute. Look at how cute that looks. I love this mix. This is going to be really happy in here. This mix is so chunky, so when I water it drains straight through, and it does have like little pieces in there to help retain moisture so it doesn't dry as fast. But again, I wait for the soil completely to dry first, and then Hoya Collection, I actually like their heart leaves. They're so thick and succulent tea that you don't have to water that often. So I will wait until they get really soft and they bend easily before I water. So even though I just repotted this plant, I'm actually not going to water this plant yet until it gets a little bit more thirsty, because I don't want to risk overwatering this guy and then it gets to be overwatered. Let's do the Calathea here next. Since I repotted this one, I think last fall, not too long ago, we'll see what the soil looks like. I think for this one, I'm going to use this. This is a 5-inch nursery pot, but it'll give it a little bit more room to grow since it has been in this pot probably for like 7-8 months, I would say. And it does have a lot more airflow for the soil to breathe. So I'm going to basically do the same thing. I love the leaves on this plant. I think it's a beautiful Calithia. So I'm going to dump it out in here and just see what the root system looks like. That literally came straight out in one chunk. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna mess with this root system either. You can see how root bound it is. It's not too root bound, but you can see it coiling around the bottom there. Usually when your plant comes out like this, it probably needs an upsize. And the soil is still pretty damp. This mix I used isn't as chunky, so it is holding on to water a bit longer. Plus it only had the one drain hole, which means it was holding on to water a lot longer. So yeah, I am going to pluck him right down in here. I'm just gonna fill up with my soil a little bit first. I'm gonna do 2 scoops. And then I will just fill up around. Calatheas are really sensitive plants, especially when they are being repotted. So if I don't have to disturb the root system, I won't. It honestly really just depends on the plant. It's gonna be a lot happier. It has more room to grow. I didn't go up too large and I didn't disturb it, so honestly, it shouldn't be affected by this repot. I think since these leaves are a little bit dusty, I might wipe these off with some peppermint soap and water, just spray the leaves down and just give them a wipe down. I'll give this one a drink just because they are Calithia, so they don't mind a little bit of extra water. And since I added some new soil in here, it'll help mend the two together so the roots can find its way into the new soil. So I'm gonna give this one a drink and wipe the leaves on this plant. Before I do that, let me do this last repotting. For my Alocasia, I'm gonna try a clear pot for this plant because I love for my Alocasias to be able to breathe. Now this plant did give me a couple corms off the top of the soil, so I don't know if I'll have any corms underneath or not, but I just want to get him out of terracotta. And I don't think I made his mix as chunky from before as well. Oh, and I already see tons of corms. Look at that big corm. Whoa. Holy moly. Look at that big corm. That's one of the biggest corms I think I've ever seen. I already see some more. I personally like to take them off and grow them. Here's another one. I just love growing corms and then planting them back in. I just think it's so fun. Oh wow, here's another one. That's 3. Yeah, this soil isn't that chunky at all. The roots look really good though. So I think I only have 3. So I'm not going to reuse the soil. Sometimes I do, but I feel like this plant has been in this pot for a while and the soil isn't as chunky as I would like it to be. Kind of had an off smell a little bit too. So I'm going to use a scoop of my mix down here. All right, my battery died, so we're picking back up. So I'm just adding a little slow release in here. I think I will do, I might do 2.5. There we go. I recently cut 2 flower blooms that grew out of here, and I cut the flowers off so that the plant doesn't focus energy on keeping flower blooms alive. I would rather it grow leaves, so I cut those off. So hopefully I'll have a new growth popping up out of here soon. And then I'm gonna root and grow these corms and then add these back into the pot. This is the only Alocasia in my collection that seems to be the one that I've struggled with the most. Then I'm gonna just top dress a little bit of this with this Soils. I love top dressing with this, it just looks so nice. That way I'm not wasting a bunch of it. I feel like it helps keep gnats out too. See, that just looks amazing. I love it already. Look at how beautiful that looks. So this one I will water thoroughly. Since this guy has some beneficial mites on here, I'm not going to clean the leaves off. I'm just going to water the plant. Before I water these plants, so for my corms, what you want to do, I have a video on growing corms on my channel if you're curious, but I peel the outer layer off, the brown part. I will peel them until they're pretty bare like that. So those are all 3 of my corms there, peeled. So these are some corms I have in my cabinet. These are my Alocasia Friedek. You can see the new leaves have come out of there. So I can probably go ahead and take these out. And then in here I have some black velvet corms that are cooking already. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some of these down in here. And then I think I'm gonna add this big one into this one. Just because I don't feel like taking these out right now. Kind of want to bury them in there like that right there. And I'm going to stick these back in my cabinet. So there's my Calithia Medallion. I gave it a good drink and I cleaned the leaves off, so it just like seemed kind of dusty. I think it's going to be much happier. And then my black velvet Alocasia I put here next to my silver dragons. And I did water it in, but I didn't clean the leaves just because there's some beneficial insects crawling on them. And my Hoya I put down here. This one I didn't water, so I'm gonna wait a few more days before I give it some water. Yeah, I think they're all gonna be a lot happier. Okay, my battery died for the outro, so I'm gonna film it again. I didn't realize it died again. Thank you guys so much for watching another repotting with me. I love doing repotting videos, and I think these plants are going to grow a whole lot better out of the pots I have them in, and I think having that little extra room to breathe is going to help them grow a lot better too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have more repotting to do, so I'm sure I'll be back with another repotting video soon. I really appreciate you guys being here and watching. Thank you so much, and I'll chat with you guys later.